Listening to your goals and dreams is our top priority at West Tennessee Bank. Benefit from our more than 100 years of experience and visit our Henderson branch today. West Tennessee Bank, focused on you. West Tennessee Bank is a division of Decatur County Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, we have a quorum present, so we can go ahead and call this meeting to order. The first thing we have in the business tonight is to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been approved and seconded. Is any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next thing we have is approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. All right, on our agenda tonight, we have delegations. I don't believe we have any present. All right, no delegations. We'll move straight to our celebrations tonight. Troy, if you want to introduce.
Sure. It is my honor, and I've been wanting to do this for a while since speaking with Mr. James Carter earlier this summer, spring into summer, sometime during our COVID break. But the work that he has done with several guys that are here with us tonight to talk about this pro touring truck shootout team, as it's called from the article from the Independent. I'm going to give James an opportunity to introduce his guys. But I do want to say one thing, and I've said this most frequently to people in general. James is one of those guys that make our school system where it is. Successful CTE program, and there's no compensation added to this part, but I'll say this, that James is one of our leading educators that ensures that guys and girls are getting scholarships, which lead to careers. He is very career-minded. He works now in an additional role, not only doing his automotive light maintenance and repair, but he also works on our work-based learning to coordinate with the local industry, local businesses, to make sure that guys and girls who are wanting to get some on-the-job clinical experience while they're high schoolers, they can do it through his work. So we're very proud of the work that he's done, especially for what's been done now, as we have seen, and everybody can talk about, and hopefully they will talk about the national recognition that Chester County Schools again gets. We want to be the best in the nation, and this is getting us one step closer. So, James, I think I've got you queued up and ready to go.
First, I want to thank y'all for just letting me be a part of this program. I'm from Chester County. I graduated here in Chester County High School, and I take that and I look at my program and see what would have helped me to try to help the other students. And before I get them right there up here and introduce them, I just want you to know that this group that helped us on this truck build right here, this group has been a great group because they've taken it in strides. A lot of things that we've done on this build, they've never done before. So they had to listen to instructions, follow instructions, written and verbal. They had to learn to work with each other because these students was not the type that hung out together. They didn't know anybody. And I just picked them at random. And they'll probably tell you that they didn't understand. You want to build a truck? Yeah, sure. You know. But first off, we got Riley Plump back here in the back. Step up. Come on up. As soon as I get done, I'm going to let y'all talk. We got Riley Plump. Following Riley here, we've got Hayden Alton. Now, these are all different grades. I mean, Hayden, he wasn't even in high school. He was an upcoming freshman, but I scarfed him up because he's running around, you know. Finding something to do, keep my truck. We got Trace Beaver, Eli Talbot, my son Jameson Carter, and Arnie Gonzalez, his son Arnie Gonzalez. Now these students right here had to learn to work together because they didn't know each other and they didn't know how to correspond with each other. So they had to learn their own little ways. Yeah, they was like, but that is what they're going to run into in the workforce. You're going to have to work with people you don't know. Some you may not like, but you're going to have to learn to do it. Now, these guys, and I had a couple more that couldn't make it tonight, they done an excellent job. They represented Chester County very, very well in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Everywhere I've taken, we've also went to Jackson just to get a little seat time there. Anywhere I take this group, they have represented us really well. Now, I'm just gonna scroll through this for some to see, but I'm gonna let them tell you their story because it's all them. I just opened the door.
I'm Riley Plum. I'm part of Mr. Carter's automotive program. I want to start off by thanking the board for supporting us in our program. And I want to thank Mr. Carter and Arnie for getting all this set up. But I guess I'll start out at the beginning. One day I got an email right after we got let out. And it said, "You want to build a truck?" So I came down to the shop one day and there's an old Chevrolet sitting there. And we stripped it down and we turned it to this race truck. And, we went to Bowling Green, Kentucky to Arnie's autocross race. And we competed with the big leagues out there. They were $100,000 trucks out there, and we were actually able to keep up with them. So when we came home, Trace got a trophy, and we had a good time. And it really changed my perspective about this stuff, and kind of changed my life because it's kind of made me want to go into this automotive field when I graduated.
I'm Trace Beaver. I was part of this, and did I get a message from you? Oh, did
Your dad,
yeah, I think it's what it was. But yeah, I didn't have a job, and I was there, and that's all I did over the summer. I was like, get up in the morning and go work on the truck. And it was a real fun experience, and got to learn a lot and stuff I already knew, and got to use the plasma cutter, and then we learned so much, and there's still a lot more to learn, and I'm interested in still learning. And, it's awesome, the stuff that's out there. I want to try to get into something like this. This definitely is a big step, and I hope we can still keep on doing it. It's really helped. That's it.
My name's Eli Talbot. Mr. Carter texted me one day and asked me if I wanted to help build a truck. I really didn't know what he was talking about. So I was kind of curious, so I went up there and I seen the truck. I thought it was pretty interesting, so I decided to stick around and help on it. And when I wasn't working my job, I was up there at school. Spent a lot of time on it. A lot of hard work went into it, and I'm proud of how it came out. Made a few new friends. I never talked to these people until I started doing that. I had a great experience up there in Bowling Green. Had a great time. Learned a lot of new things. Proud of the experience that I had, and I'm proud that I got to get the opportunity to go up there. Can't wait till I start working on that second truck over summer. It's gonna be fun. Great opportunity, great program. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into automotive after high school, but once I did this, that kind of opened my eyes to everything, and now I do know that I want to go up there and go into automotive and start working on stuff like that.
I'm Jameson Carter. Of course, you know me, I'm Mr. Carter's son. And he's been talking about wanting to find something new to get the kids involved. to get the kids interested in automotive. And he's been trying really hard to come up with ideas or things for them to do. And him and Arnie got together and they decided, let's build a race truck. So he contacted the guys. I decided to pitch in a little bit. And, whenever I wasn't working at the co-op, I was up there making sure they weren't messing anything up. Supervising. But once we went up there to Kentucky, it was pretty cool. All the guys were really friendly. They helped us out. Whenever we had problems with the truck, they helped us diagnose the problems and get them fixed. The kids got offered, every single one of us got offered a job up there. We all really enjoyed ourselves. Managed to come out in third place in novice. And we all really enjoyed ourselves, dude. I think we need to do more stuff like this, and that's why I'm really excited that we're going to build another truck and have them racing against each other. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And I wanted to thank the board for letting us be able to go do this, and thank my dad and Arnie for coming up with this for us to do. And that's all we got. We had a lot of fun.
My name's Hayden Halton. I'm the only freshman on this little thing. And the closest thing I had to working on cars was just watching a bunch of YouTube videos on how to do stuff like that. And one morning I heard about this thing that they were doing for my mom. You know, she asked me if I wanted to do it, so I said yes. I went down there to the shop one day, and it was this ugly little white pickup.
Be honest.
And we got it running, we got it wrapped, and we got it to where it is today, and I'm really proud of it. Got a lot of hands-on work, learned how to do a bunch of stuff, like cutting stuff with a plasma cutter and, fixing the steering. But this has opened this up as a potential career opportunity for me. And I just want to thank the board, Mr. Carter, my mom, all these guys for helping me and teaching me about all this stuff. So,
No, I'm only up here because my dad can't talk. He'll probably take the whole meeting. So basically, how I got involved in this, I was working, and after work, my dad was like, "Hey, let's go to the high school." And so we come down, and we just start working on it. And I'm like, "All right, I guess I'm in this." And so, well, I met these gentlemen, and yeah, that's basically how it started. And
did you design any parts on that truck?
yeah, I designed the axle perch and a few other parts using the advanced manufacturing sort of thing. Make it in Fusion 360 and make it in like a CNC machine.
Did we sell that part now to the world?
Mm-hmm.
That's the axle perch, the aluminum right there close to the wheel where we had to flip the springs. It's all billet aluminum made. Done a real good job there. And those are the upper control arms that we replaced the factory with to give us a little bit more turning radius that he also designed.
Those are made here in Chester County. Because of that kid right there.
Okay, but it was a great experience. I had to find this slide right here. Every one of them, I guess they're a little nervous, but the highlight of this for me was not only the students and watching them smile and work hard, but when we walked into the Corvette Museum and we seen our truck sitting in the middle of the room that we were about to have a banquet with. So it was sitting in the Corvette Museum. And I was like, take pictures, and every one of them's blurry, you know how that goes. But that wasn't all. They got invited up on stage, and they had to get in front of everyone there and do what they done just now. And it helped them. I heard comments, I thought I was gonna pass out. My knees are numb. I heard everything while they was going, moving around up there. And it was a great experience for the students. I think for that part and being able to mingle with people. While we were there, there's a few pictures on there where they actually got to meet some of the vendors that donated the parts. Auburn Gear, which they gave them shirts. GSI was there with the C notch. Just everyone just wrapped those students up and just said, you're the show, not these outlaw trucks. And that was great, and it made them feel really good. Arnie Gonzalez, as I said, Arnie had come to me. I've known him for a while, and he came up with this idea. I went, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't know it was going to get this big, and I was going to be able to help these students learn skills all in one deal. That was the amazing part, because they learned not just hands-on skills, but thinking skills, communication skills, and problem solving. They had to go back to the drawing board several times and figure out what was wrong. And that to me was great. And like I said, I appreciate every one of them. Mr. Arnie.
If I may interject this one thing, this program, the reason why it excites me so much, first of all, thank you for letting us do it. We could have gotten shut down several times. And reasons you don't want to know. But these kids really, really learned a lot, and I got to see them flourish. But it's because of that man right there. And I wish we could model this to every single school. Part of the news that we have is we're doing this again in Arizona, and we're looking for schools that can do this, and we're using ours to model it. And so I believe a lot in education. I believe in teaching these kids these career-minded traits that they need to have, anywhere from taking the truck apart to welding to manufacturing a part for it. The businesses are out there, and they got thrown into the lion's den. These were manufacturers with their own vehicles, and my Chitral County guys came out third place in the novice. We left there with their heads up high. And so we had to report that back to you guys. Some guys were there. If not, some of the stuff is on YouTube. Them speaking is on YouTube. They forget about that part. So it's on there forever. And they got forced to do public speaking. And so it's because of this program. So there's a lot going on here. And I hope you guys kind of get the gist of it, of how important it is, not just in our county. It'd be great to model it. I would do it at a federal level. I think it's mandatory. As vehicles become harder to work on and harder to diagnose, you need a man like this behind you to tell you what it is and how it can be fixed. So I'm so happy to be and blessed to be part of this program. So I'm going to continue to abuse my connections and get on them. We already have for next year, or from not next year, the next truck, Beltec wants to jump on board. So we have some ideas that we're going to give to them. We have other companies like LMC. These are companies that within the millions already given us money for sponsorship and want to be a part of it. So we've been involved inside magazines. This is a particular magazine called The Builder's Guide, and there is the write-up of the truck right there. Well, I've already started with another magazine because I got to make them pay for the next wrap on the truck. So we got a lot of things going on, but it's great to take this to the next set of students and to keep on being just every year's project. And we had our show open up to Ford, Dodge, and Chevy. So we're not just Chevrolet guys. I'm just a Chevrolet guy, but we're opened up to all makes and models. So it's just awesome to have these students gain this experience and to be a part of it. So we thank you guys.
Y'all really, man.
And on my big note, thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Y'all good night.
Good job, guys.
I will.
And there is James brought the trophy. This is the trophy from Bowling Green, right?
Yes.
It's on the table, and there's also, anybody wants to look at it after the meeting, the magazine, the national magazine article. is up here on the
Yeah.
table as well. But congratulations and thank you for your work, James.
Thank you.
Any other comment or question from the board?
Y'all just blew me away. Because it's not just building a truck, it was, like you said, it's math, it's,
A lot of geometry.
speed, just all of it rolled up into one and working as a team. And I'm glad to have you on our team.
Is it gonna be are there gonna be a student from each age group, like a freshman, sophomore in
They-
particular, or just the ones that are, you think you pick most interested in this?
I opened it up, for people to join in the builds. But at these autocrosses, they have to have a driver's license
Yeah.
before they can participate.
Correct.
And then from there, if it gets larger, then we'll have to start having our own competitions to figure out who's gonna go to the big competitions.
Yeah.
And that's probably where it'll wind up later. Of course, I sit here and say, it grows each year,
Oh, yeah.
but this right here went so quick, and then the interest that I've got, just engaging the students, and that's what I'm always after, finding, well, Mr. Gilder will tell you, I'm always coming up with something different to engage the students, and this right here is something that I think we can build with, and every student can be involved. I'm trying to get, Drama Club has been doing their little videos for the Eagle News. They come by and interview me, and I'm gonna try to get them involved with maybe sending a student to a local area like in Jackson and video the students doing it. That way they can come back and show it. And get, some of the pictures here come from, Mr. Jeff Halcom and his photography. Whenever he had the photography class, I was going to try to get them involved, because some of the magazines, the editor of that magazine there, I met him, and he said he would love to see students doing that, and he would be able to talk to them and show them how that you could actually make money with that, and possibly purchase pictures from their group to go into their funds, to help them do that. So there's a lot of angles here we're looking at, and I could talk all night on it, but I don't want to keep all the glory, because I'm for the whole school. I want everybody to be involved. So if I can get more people involved, then it should just start working like a machine. I mean, they're doing their own videos, they're doing their own pictures, they can start submitting articles to magazines themselves. It's building and showing them what they can do with the skills they got.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it. The next item on the agenda tonight, if you'll recall from last month, we had a request to add the recommendation of a year extension of the superintendent's contract. So we're going to address that in this meeting tonight. And Troy, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, and again, as I shared with those who I've already talked to about this, I'm very grateful to work here. Again, I think that there is, based, again, what we learned from James tonight and the guys that were with him, and what we learned last month with Teresa Krause, and the work where we're taking school-age kids and we're working them toward career options, not just getting them ready for college, but truly getting them ready of interest and aptitude to take some local careers and really be a productive citizen in Chester County. I'm not opposed for somebody to go off, but I think that we need to, and James and others have demonstrated that we're at ECHO, we want to build productive citizens that's going to stay in Chester County and make a good living here. So I've been very fortunate through the years to be able to serve our school district, and this being the start of my 7th year with the school district. I don't know if there's been ever a more trying year to start. As I shared with some, you don't have to worry about people standing in line for this job right now because of the uncertainty of what the future holds. I'm very proud, and I say this consistently, I'm so proud of our staff. We're doing things in Chester County schools that are not being mimicked much in our state. and especially in our nation. I sat in a national call even today where they're really concerned about starting school in January. They're doing virtual in other parts of our country, and they're still in virtual only. And just the negative impact that could be on our school children with them not having an opportunity to engage, just like these guys explained, and to have the opportunity where the impact of teachers like James and leadership, like in the back of the room with Ms. Haltom and Mr. Murley, it's just a blessing that we've got our staff at all levels who are very much on board with making sure that we're meeting the needs of our kids, not only academically, but just like what James describes tonight, socially and emotionally. I mean, giving them, these guys were coming this summer. James was working with no expectation for extra pay. I mean, this is just because of a passion to see kids, as he shared, have something to get them more to be involved with this school program. So it's just a great place to work, and it makes my job less stressful knowing that I've got people who can put forth this type of work above and beyond the call. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be in this role. I told Glenn Naylor, who sat where Jeff was back years ago, or right here where Mark was, when he asked me how long do I want to work. I mean, this is the place where I've had my career. Some of you, I've been around for a while. This is just home, obviously, but it's been my home in my career. And I plan to put forth as much effort and as long as I'm able and willing. I am willing, but as long as I'm able and productive to serve in this capacity, I want to continue to serve. So I want to honor Glenn's request for me to put in, I told him 20 years. So we'll see. I'm a long way from 20, but if I can hold together, we'll see where it goes from there.
Any questions or discussion?
Well, I've got a comment. I think our director has done an outstanding job. There has been some trying times. And everybody likes to have job security. And I think it's the board's responsibility to extend his contract. And it does give some stability. And I think he's done a great job. I do. And that's just a comment.
Okay.
All right, so the contract that we've got in front of us is a one-year extension that would go into effect July 1st of 2022.
Correct.
And I make a motion that we approve this.
Second. Okay, so the motion has been approved and seconded for the year extension, which would take effect the first day of July of 2022. The contract would end the 30th day of June of 2023. So that would be the time frame. Is there any other discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I
And
appreciate
thank you
that.
for a great job, well
Thank
done,
you.
especially in these last few months, but the last 7 years.
Thank you.
The next item we have is a recommendation from the TSBA. We have some revisions to look at tonight from the policy manual, section 1. And Troy, if you want to address any of those.
Well, and in my effort to inform the TSBA of our roles for chairman, vice chair, and also our legislative representative, they informed me that our language in that policy manual has been updated. And the revision, they title it as just simply a legislative representative. It's the same scope of work, but it's more of just the language within the policy to reflect accurately of what it is now. So like for policy 1.105, that role of the, as we called it, because we thought it was still current, the Tennessee Legislative Network rep is now just simply the legislative representative. So to upgrade that, it was my recommendation that we just replace the existing policy now of 1.105 with the new draft that's included in your packet for policy 1.105 for school board legislative involvement. Then for the same thing is applicable for policy 1.200. dealing with the methods of election for officers. It still represents the same thing. Our previous policy still titled that role that Becky serves as a TLN, and it would be to simply to refer to that role now as a legislative representative. And then finally, the board committees, that third policy that's included 1.300. I'd asked Shane in his current capacity if we would give the board now as new structure some more skin in the game with the workings that we have, and to give more action where you guys as a collective group are able to serve in capacities that goes a little bit more than just a 1 month meeting. So those board committees, this was our previous or our current policy, excuse me, that's in your packet is not as detailed as this one policy 1.300. So it's my recommendation that the board accept these revisions as provided.
Any other discussion, questions?
I make a motion that we adopt the revisions of state.
Second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded that we approve these recommendations from TSBA for the 3 policies that have been presented. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And they are approved. So those policies will be enacted and revised. Speaking of the committees, we are going to tonight appoint some subcommittee members. These are some of our board members can act specifically in certain areas, meet on a regular basis on different areas to present at the board meeting, present the findings and reports that they have. We're going to enact a policy committee, a capital projects committee, and a finance committee. So we want to present those committees tonight, and you will meet with the district staff to accomplish those different tasks and report to the full board at the following monthly meeting when you do meet. So tonight, my proposal is board chairman for these committees. The Capital Projects Committee, Ben Couples and Norris Frank. The Policy Committee, Becky Hutcherson and Mark Griffin. And then the Finance Committee would be myself and Jeff Harris. Is there any additional discussion about those? We'll need to approve setting up those committees. The board needs to approve those committees being set up. And they will stand, they're not a standing committee, but they will stand until the work in each committee is done or until we re-up the committee on an annual basis. So we'll look at them again this time next year.
So they're not per project, they're annual.
They're, yes, yes.
And you said that we need to act on this.
Yes, the board needs to approve the setting up of the committee.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept all these committees.
Okay, motion has been approved and seconded for these 3 committees. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And those committees are set. We'll begin work soon. And again, when you meet, we'll have those reports here to the full board. The next thing on the agenda is a recommendation for a removal of one of our policies. It's 4.6051 that regards early graduation for third-year students.
Well, just to add a little bit more to the narrative, again, and Dr. Jill Faulkner, as she was reviewing the newest revision of the other policy, the graduation requirements, again, that came before the full board at the August 20th meeting for approval. There was a revision from the state, from the TSBA for that it made the content now of the graduation requirements of 4.6055 made the early graduation of third-year students, our own current policy 4.6051, obsolete. So rather than trying to maintain, they're actually somewhat in a conflict with each other. Since this one is the outdated version, the one that's 4.6051, it would be my recommendation just to remove that policy because the content that would satisfy early graduation is found within policy now 4.605.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we remove the policy 4.6051. Yeah.
Second.
All right, the motion has been approved and seconded. This is that recommendation for this policy 4.6051 for the early graduation for third-year students. Any other discussion? All those in favor of that removal, say aye. Opposed, say no. And that is approved, so that will be removed. Our last thing on the agenda is the recommendation for board approval of the 2020-21 LEA compliance report. So explain what that is.
And you have included in your packet an example of that. It's just a one-pager. It's required each year. Again, regarding the most recent legislative law changes or current practices within the rules and regs that we have to operate by. It is just a comprehensive document that just simply says that we are in compliance with all the rules and regs required. So again, currently I asked the board to consider including this in the minutes for approval. We are currently meeting all the compliance requirements, and I will have to, based on the board's vote, submit that same document signed by both myself and Shane to reflect that with the State Department. We have to do it every year.
I make a motion that we approve the 2021 LEA compliance report.
All right, we do have that motion made and seconded for that recommendation for the compliance report for this year. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. And it is approved and passed. So that is done. All right, any updates to present tonight?
Well, included in, I know you've read the content, we have had 2 report card measures that did carry over from the COVID shutdown. There was no testing, no accountability for teachers for levels of effectiveness or any students based on achievement or growth measures. But because that there were 2 areas of reporting that are lagged for a year, that's graduation rate, and that's also the ready graduate rate. The graduation rate is simply when those children start as 9th graders, that cohort starts, how many of those children continue through Chester County schools and complete. And as you see, the reason for the lag is so we can bring in the summer school of those who need that summer after their senior year. So through graduation, when you have your ceremony, some still need to do just a little bit more work to get through that summer. So to be able to capture those kids into your graduation rate for that cohort, that's why they give us that 1-year lag. So that's why we have this data available when everything else was shut down. Hats off to Ms. Haltom in the back, because she usually is the one who has been very fruitful with the work in the summer, because mostly our summer school approach is targeting those seniors who need those few more credit hours or credit course work to be able to get their graduation rate. I know there's a lot of people involved with it, but I know through the years with OdysseyWare and the software program, it's really worked well. And as you see here, that our graduation rate for that year of 18-19 was 95.9, which is, again, 95 is considered the threshold. It's a safe harbor. As long as you get up to 95, you're in good standing. And for us to be exceeding that, as you see in comparison to the statewide average at 89.7, that is a significant measure above the state average. But just as important for that one measure is that our dropout rate in comparison to the state average was only 2.3. When you have programs like what James just explained, when you have other programs where it captivates the interest and the aptitude and the willingness, you got kids coming to school when maybe in the past, if they didn't have those options, they would consider just dropping out when they think the better futures for me outside. So again, we're doing more than just the math, the language arts, the science, and the social studies. They're giving them opportunities to be able to invest in things that they say, I could, just like the guy said, I might do this as a career. That's where we know we're hooking them in and getting them to stay the course. And we're very proud of the work to do it, and it's reflective of our results. The ready graduate is a little bit different, and you notice the numbers are not as good, but that's a new measure that started just a few years ago. And ready graduate means that it's a measure that captures how many children, for one, can enter that ready graduate category if they score 21 or better on their ACT. Or where they can pick up what some of you have heard before, what's called an EPSO, but it's an early post-secondary opportunity. Those are courses that they can pick up for career-minded. It can be work-based learning. It can be some of the CTE programs that leads to certification, like ASE certification. Ginger McPherson's CNA program that leads to a certification. And most of our CTE programs are aspiring to get there one day where all of them have it. If they need the EPSOs to be able to get through the ready graduate requirement, we've got them now as far back as early as their freshman year with partnerships with Jackson State Community College, where our own teachers are delivering instruction like for wellness. And if they complete
Personal finance. Computer application.
very good. So they're able to take these courses with our own teachers teaching. It counts as a local deal credit, which means that if they choose to go to Jackson State to continue their career beyond high school, those credits that they earned at Chester County High School will come back and be a part of their credits already earned. So again, it's a cost savings to the families, and especially for our guys around here. I went to Jackson State. To know that that gets me a little bit further, closer to my goal of whether career or continuing education, you've already got those measures. So all the partnerships we have with the TCATs, we've got welding that's happening now with TCAT Crump that's set up here. I know that Arnie offered, and the guys talked about the plasma cutter. We now have a plasma cutter in the shop. It was delivered, 2 days ago or yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
So that adds another facet to the welding program where the guys and girls are going to be able to be captivated with these things that are very cutting edge, but also captivates their interest and it could lead to a career like what Arnie described. So we know that our work thus far is going to lead us further down to get a better graduation rate or a ready graduate rate. Right now, again, we're a little bit ahead of the state average. The state average was 40.7 in comparison to ours, which was 48.4. That will continue to rise as these guys and girls who are already doing the Jackson State either freshman gate or others like the personal finance, because these don't come into play until they get to their graduation year. So that's when the ready graduate numbers actually come back. So we should, as we continue to offer more opportunities for these EPSOs, gives a better rate each year. Again, our average ACT score is something we all aspire to do better with. A good ACT score gets you a lot of places in the future, and it really provides an equal playing field, especially when you have a lot of guys and girls who score really well in their academic success in the classroom, but the ACT score is really what makes the difference between the scholarships, whether they get it or they don't get it. So there's efforts right now with ACT Prep at the high school. We also have ACT Work Keys, which is another group. Teresa Krause teaches 2 classes of, I believe. And is that right? 2 classes worth of, where they do a Work Keys test. Our community is a Work Keys community, work-ready community. So we are, again, and this is where we're roping in local industry, Chamber of Commerce, city government, county government, to really make it where we're marketing Chester County as a place where you can bring your industry and know that you're going to get a good education and have a viable workforce that's coming in the future. That's our effort.
Troy, I'd like to, the ACT scores. I mean, what are you targeting really to try to get our ACT scores up?
I can speak for myself, but I'm more general. What I would say, you got 4 subtests that you have to take for math, for reading, which is usually social studies, science, and English language arts. When we give the students the opportunity to invest in early on in some type of predictive test, not the actual ACT itself, but you begin to diagnose where the issues are. Some kids may be better in the English language arts as compared to the math, or as compared to the science or the reading or the social studies. So you target that area that needs the improvement for the remedy. So the ACT prep can be very specialized to target those areas that they need help with. It needs to be more comprehensive. And again, I know in some more affluent districts, in West Tennessee. I'd say around the municipals around Shelby County, where when you have a lot of circumstances where mom and dad maybe are professionally trained already with master's degrees beyond, then there may be more emphasis in having that degree or having that ACT effort to put forth that, that work. Our state assessments are not necessarily getting us with higher ACT scores. They're teaching or they're testing two different areas, even though it's still math, science, social studies, and reading. But they're not perfectly aligned. So what we're doing is we're making sure we supplement the work that we need to do very well for our state assessments, but then also get those guys and girls in good shape for finishing out a good ACT score and having the opportunity to have the scholarships needed. And y'all add to it?
Well, we just, last year when we ended our year, our juniors usually always take the ACT, and they weren't able to because the year was cut short. So those guys and girls as seniors, just a couple of weeks ago, were able to take the ACT for the first time. Well, our other students, our freshmen and juniors, took practice ACTs, which were scored, and we can evaluate the scores, look at areas we need to improve, and our teachers have that data, so they can kind of target those areas for future ACT tests for those guys and girls. And then our seniors will be able to take their second round, December, I can't remember the date, December the 12th, I think, will be their second round, because all seniors usually take what we call an ACT retake. So they'll be taking two in the same year. So to answer your question, we use that data that we get from those practice tests, and we look at the areas that we need to focus on in the ACT prep and some of the other subjects that do like ACT questions of the day and those type of things. So those are ways that we look to improve on our ACT scores.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other business needs to come before the board? All right, if not, I'll announce that the next board meeting will be here at the Board of Education office Thursday, November the 19th. You have a motion that we adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, we are adjourned.